It usually begins in a quiet moment, not during a fight, not during a dramatic conversation, but during something ordinary. You're lying next to her after a long day. The room is quiet. Your breathing slows down. Her head is resting on your chest. And for a moment, everything feels calm. Almost too calm. You notice something unusual inside yourself. Your mind isn't racing. You're not wondering what she's thinking. You're not analyzing her tone. You're not trying to read signals. You just feel relaxed, and a strange thought appears. Is this normal? Because if you're honest, many of your past relationships didn't feel like this. They felt intense, full of emotion, full of passion, but also full of uncertainty. There were moments of closeness, and then suddenly distance. Moments when everything felt amazing, and moments when you weren't sure where you stood anymore. You learned to read between the lines, to notice when her energy changed, to wonder if you had said something wrong. Relationships had movement. Push, pull, closeness. Then space again. And somewhere in that emotional rhythm, attraction seemed to live. So when something finally feels calm, it can almost feel unfamiliar, even suspicious. Part of you wonders if something is missing. Because the world tells men something very specific about attraction. That passion must be intense. That love must be dramatic. That desire needs tension. But real connection often looks different. Sometimes, it looks like peace. You notice the way she moves closer without thinking, the way she casually reaches for your hand when you're walking, the way her body relaxes when she's near you. There's no anxiety in it, no testing, no emotional games, just comfort. And comfort can feel confusing for a man who has learned that attraction lives inside uncertainty. But what you slowly realize is something most men misunderstand. She doesn't feel safe with you because she's settled. She feels safe with you because she trusts you. And trust changes the entire emotional dynamic of a relationship. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her nervous system shifts. She stops scanning for danger. She stops preparing for disappointment. She stops wondering when things might suddenly fall apart. Instead, she becomes softer, more playful, more open. She laughs more freely. She touches you without hesitation. She stops performing the version of herself she thought she needed to be. And instead, she starts showing you who she really is. That's when many men misinterpret what's happening, because the relationship becomes calmer, less dramatic, less emotionally chaotic, and the fear appears. Is attraction fading? But calm does not mean attraction is disappearing. Sometimes calm is the environment where attraction finally becomes real. Because anxiety can create intensity, but it rarely creates trust. And trust is what allows someone to open the deepest parts of themselves, the parts that create genuine intimacy. And intimacy is where attraction often becomes stronger, not weaker. But there is one important detail. Safety alone doesn't create attraction. It's who you are inside that safety. A man who is safe but uncertain often becomes invisible. But a man who is safe and grounded becomes magnetic. Because she doesn't stay close out of need. She stays close because she wants to. And that difference changes everything. There is a moment many men quietly fear in relationships. It's the moment when everything becomes comfortable. When the emotional storms disappear. When the relationship starts feeling stable, predictable, peaceful. And suddenly a question appears in the back of his mind. Is she still attracted to me? Because we've been taught a strange idea about attraction. That it only exists in chaos. That passion requires tension. That if things become calm, desire must be fading. But that idea mostly comes from relationships where safety never existed. In those relationships, intensity replaces connection. Drama replaces intimacy. And emotional unpredictability creates the illusion of passion. But when a woman feels emotionally safe with a man, something different begins to happen. Her nervous system relaxes. Her mind stops racing. Her body stops preparing for emotional danger. Instead of constantly evaluating the relationship, she begins to experience it. And that's when attraction often becomes deeper. Not louder, but deeper. You start noticing it in quiet ways. The way she looks at you when you're not paying attention. The way her hand lingers on your arm for just a second longer than necessary. The way she instinctively moves closer to you when you're sitting together. These signals are not dramatic, but they are powerful. because they come from authenticity, from a place where she no longer feels the need to protect herself. And that openness creates something many men rarely experience in relationships: real desire. Desire that isn't driven by fear of losing someone. Desire that doesn't come from emotional uncertainty, but desire that comes from genuine connection. Because when a woman feels safe, she stops chasing emotional security. She already has it. And when that need disappears, space opens for something else. Playfulness, curiosity, affection, passion that isn't fueled by anxiety, but by comfort. And this is where many men misunderstand the situation. They assume that safety makes them less attractive. But in reality, safety simply removes the emotional noise. What remains underneath that noise is the real connection between two people. And that connection can be incredibly powerful. Because attraction doesn't always grow in chaos. Sometimes it grows in calm, in small, everyday moments, in quiet laughter, in the way two people simply enjoy being near each other without trying to prove anything. And when a woman feels emotionally safe with a man who is still confident, grounded, and connected to himself, she doesn't lose attraction. She often feels it more clearly. Because now it's no longer mixed with anxiety. Now it's simply desire. Not the dramatic kind, not the unpredictable kind, but the kind that stays. And when a woman chooses to stay close, day after day, not because she needs to, but because she genuinely wants to, that's often the moment attraction becomes the most real it has ever been.